So here's a quick review of Flatzoid's focal length Fiasco. It all started with this pair of photos he brought up, a wide-angle 12mm and a telephoto 200mm shot of the same scene taken from the same distance. The wide shot has been cropped and expanded to about the same size as the telephoto shot. Flatzoid claimed that the change in focal length, i.e. the zooming in of the camera, has made the background mountain disappear. The reality, of course, is that the photographer was standing up for the left shot and crouching for the right one. So I went out and took these 3 quick shots with my phone all in the same location, using its 3 cameras which are equivalent to 13, 26 and 65mm. And it clearly showed that the background objects didn't change their relationship to the foreground objects. But Flatzoid pulled out his microscope and tweezers and found some minuscule differences, perhaps caused by a slight movement of the phone between shots, and perhaps because the 3 cameras are located at slightly different heights on the phone. Whatever the reason, the entire background hasn't completely changed like it did with the shots of the girl. Now it's worth noting that I didn't bother to perfectly resize and align my 3 photos. It wasn't necessary to make my point. So Flatzoid was incorrect to be counting pixels in these images. But Shawn Hawkins did bother to resize and align them properly, and it annulled most of what Flatzoid found. Remember that the original argument was about the background mountain. Well, in Shawn's correctly resized image, the distance from this fairly identifiable stripe of bright ground to the horizon is 274, 276 and 279 pixels. Maybe. It's hard to draw a conclusion given how blurry the left image is, but what is certain is that the horizon hasn't disappeared and may in fact have risen rather than dropped dramatically as in the photos of the girl. Now Shawn also did some filming of his own, using an 18 to 55mm zoom lens and a 55 to 200mm zoom lens, and Flatzoid also picked them apart, claiming to have found a few pixels difference. Except there's a bit of a problem here too. He used an image of the 18 to 55 at its 55 zoom and an image of the 55 to 200 at its 55mm zoom. So he's actually using 2 images at the same magnification taken by different lenses, not 2 images taken at vastly different focal lengths and resized to match. And Shawn took his as video footage, in which you can clearly see an amount of camera shake as he adjusts and changes the lenses. So all Flatzoid has proven is that there's always going to be minuscule differences between similar photos unless the photographer is fastidiously careful not to move the camera between shots. And lastly, Flatzoid has claimed that my phone's cameras weren't a long enough focal length for his magical effect to occur. He says it will kick in noticeably above 100mm, and my camera is just 65mm. Well, Flatzoid, you've debunked your own nonsense when you also cited this demonstration. It included a range of shots from 17 to 180mm, and you've implied that it's just the change in focal length that causes such a big difference in the appearance in the photos. Now I've picked the 2 that are closest matches to my 13 and 65mm on my phone, and they are a 17 and 75mm. Look how much the scene has changed compared to the pixel hunt that you had to do on my photos. The reality is that this one is a dolly zoom. The camera moved back and was zoomed in, and the background has risen, whereas your original argument was that the background dropped when zoomed. So Flatzoid's magical zoom effect seems to work upwards or downwards depending on what argument he's trying to make, and it doesn't appear to exist at all when the photos are known to be taken from approximately the same distance and height. Now, I don't have a pithy sign-off today, so thanks for watching. Do the YouTube things, like, share and subscribe. See ya!